everyone, I'm Kelsey. Thanks for stopping by my channel today, and this is Essentially Booked, and I talk about all things bookish. I read very, very broadly. Today I'm going to do my March TBR. I have a very extensive TBR this month. It got a little out of control. So I'm going to take what Krista from Books and Jam says and call it a pile of possibilities. I know it's middle grade March, and this year I don't have a single middle grade book, but I'm focusing on reading books from my shelves and participating in fun challenges that I otherwise would. So if you're doing middle grade March, have so much fun, because it's like middle grade books always blow me away. It's not something I primarily read, but have so much fun. But for now, we're gonna go through my very wild pile of possibilities. Okay, so some carryovers from February of books that I either didn't get to or books I'm reading that just will carry over. I am still working my way through Babel. It's really good. I will say it's slow. So the first half is definitely setting up for the back half of the book. And I've heard once you get to the back half of the book, it reads a lot faster. But this is very much devoted to the power of language and words and translations. And it's very like scholarly, dark academia. It is not. I am definitely loving it. I get the hype. I just have to read it very slowly because I want to savor the writing. So continuing on with that, I've been reading What Happened to Ruthie Ramirez, which publishes on March 7th. And this is literary fiction. I heard Annie B. Jones from the bookshelf Thomasville and from the Front Porch podcast rave about it. And generally, I read pretty closely to her. So was very, very excited that she recommended this. So I made it a priority on my NetGalleys to read. And then I have Caste, The Origins of Our Discontent by Isabel Wilkerson. I've started it. This is my nonfiction, like big book for the month. That is book of the month. And it is just about how we have an inherent caste system in our country. And it's comparing the caste systems to like from India and Nazi Germany to us. And it really explains like how we got to systemic racism, because Isabel Wilkerson is an incredible writer and she makes very hard, dense history super readable. So if you're looking for a like good anti-racist read, this is reading super easy for a nonfiction book. So I would recommend this actually. And I think it's very important to read. And I'm only like an eighth in, but it's reading really easy. So carrying that one over to this month. Okay, there were a few book of the months that I talked about in February. Man, what month is it? A couple carryover book of the months from February are Behold the Dreamers and Queenie. And I've tried Queenie before, and I'm hoping that I will give it a go again. Because I read Mayma earlier this year, I'm a little scared that they're going to be too similar. So we'll see here. And then the three new book of the months I've added to my shelf for this month to prioritize will be Fiona and Jane, which is a book of short stories. Winter Counts, which is Indigenous fiction. It's a thriller. I actually want to read this because I want to see if I can recommend it to my husband, because he's been looking for some thrillers and I'm trying to recommend books to him that I think he would like, and I think this has potential. So Winter Counts, I think this one's about, he's a local enforcer on an Indian reservation in South Dakota. When justice is denied by the American legal system or the tribal council, he is hired to deliver his own punishment, the kind that's hard to forget. Maybe giving me Razor Blade Tears vibes, I don't know, but I've heard really good things about this, so very excited to read it. And then A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is going to be my audiobook right now. So far, I've really enjoyed it, but I think it's mixed media. So there's podcasts and interviews and phone calls. And so it's very good on audio. Like it's very real there. So that's probably, I will probably consume it more on audio than I will consume it as a hard copy book. And then for my book clubs this month, I've got Unlikely Animals, which is for Modern Mrs. Darcy. I have Spite House, which I actually have as an ARC through NetGalley for the Books and Lala Literally Dead book club. My friend Jess has a book club, and I'm totally blanking on the name right now, but they're reading The Villa, and I have that on audio from Libro, so I am going to do that on audio also this month. And then this month you should see my Lucinda Berry reading vlog. So these two are on there. I'm in a book club with ladies from my church, and we're going to read The Bean Tree by Barbara Kingsolver. This is a modern classic, and I'm just really excited for it. So that's kind of cool. And then this is actually going to be, when I finish my next hardcover physical book, I'm going to start The Madness of Crowds. Finally, Don't judge me, I just have moved this from TBR to TBR since like November. Okay, so from the library, I am picking up Unlikely Animals, which is the Modern Mrs. Darcy Book Club book that I talked about previously. And then Ruth's Whiskey or something, I'll put that up right here. And then finally, The Engagement, which is a nonfiction look at the fight for same-sex marriage in the United States. And I live in a state that is being super homophobic and passing a ton of really harmful legislation to our LGBTQIA friends. And so I am trying to learn and read as much as I can about the history and kind of to see things, because I've been writing to my representative who does not think any way that I do. And he has equated having a gay child as child abuse, that the parent who has that child is abusing their child. It's been really nasty in my state and very sad. So I'm reading that, which will be very timely because today our state introduced an amendment to our Constitution to define marriages between one man and one woman, which I fundamentally disagree with because it's not the job of the state to get into religious affairs. So I'm very passionate about that and very sad. So I'm really just trying to read more books, more diverse books, more books about people who are different than me, and also books that help me educate so that I can continue to advocate and fight this injustice in my state. So that is my March TBR, and it's quite large. I probably will not read all of them. There will probably be carryovers to April, but that is kind of my plan for now. If there's any of them that you've read, I would love to hear in the comments, and I hope you guys have the best reading month in March. Bye.